The word economics comes from the Greek oikonomia, which meant household management. The Greek poet Hesiod, writing at the same time as Homer and his Odyssey, wrote of the virtues of work, especially in agriculture, in order to generate an income. In these times, most people worked independently from home, and so household management covered one's labor decisions as well as one's consumption choices. Along with every other topic, Aristotle wrote a great deal about economics. And like most people in his time, and indeed throughout most of history, he despised commerce and trade and saw practices like usury, the charging of interest on a loan, as deeply immoral. These attitudes towards economic life reinforced the norms of the time, which kept people stuck in the station they were born into. Had you been born before the 19th century, you would have had very few choices for your profession, and you would have spent your entire life living in poverty. Our ancestors were micromanagers when it came to the economy. As human civilizations grew, the prevailing wisdom was that someone needed to organize the economy. They worried that there wouldn't be enough food to feed everyone unless some government bureaucrat was planning which peasant farmers would grow which crops and when. To try something new or to go against traditions was perceived as a threat to everyone else's well-being. Economies were centralized, controlled by the state, and the cost of these misguided efforts was frequent famines and millennia of common people unable to escape poverty. Then came the Scottish Enlightenment, when learned people like Adam Smith began to challenge the long accepted doctrines of economics and propose a radical new idea. In his book entitled An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations, or just the Wealth of Nations for short, Adam Smith laid down a forceful argument that when left alone, economic activity will generate incentives that reward people for using their resources efficiently and for the purposes which provide the greatest benefit to society as a whole. When people are free to make their own decisions, they will only pay for the things that benefit them. And so, the only way to earn money is to produce something that genuinely benefits other people. Our greed is redirected towards a positive outcome, and our desire for material gain motivates us to maximize the benefit we produce for others, as that is how we maximize the benefit to ourselves. Smith's insights were quite remarkable, and his program of investigating how incentives arise along with the outcomes they produce is the foundation of modern economics. Then came the economists. Smith would have called himself a philosopher, but people like Alfred Marshall, Leon Walras, William Stanley Jevons, and Carl Menger built a house of mathematical rigor atop his foundation and created the modern discipline of economics. They borrowed from other disciplines like moral philosophy and built a framework for consumer and producer behavior. Their key insight was that in order to maximize your well-being, as Adam Smith suggested, you needed to find the point where the marginal benefit was equal to the marginal cost. How many slices of pizza should you eat? Well, each slice provides you some benefit, and that benefit is probably diminishing with each additional slice. So as you eat more pizza, the marginal benefit of having one more slice falls. Compare that to the cost, measured in lost opportunities, of eating each additional slice, which is likely rising the more you eat. If the benefit of one more slice outweighs the cost, go for it. But once the cost outweighs the benefit, stop. It sounds so simple, and it is, but their ability to define each of those claims mathematically allowed them to build economic models which offer genuine insights into how the economy organizes human action and what that means for our well-being. Modern economics can be said to rest on three main principles that come out of this history of economic thought. First is that humans will try to optimize by choosing the best feasible option, given the available information. People make choices that are motivated by calculations of costs and benefits. Second is that this pattern of human behavior will push economic systems towards an equilibrium, where no one would benefit personally by changing their own behavior. That is to say, at this equilibrium, everyone has exhausted every opportunity to improve their own situation. And lastly is the modern addition to economics, empiricism. Economists use data to test theories scientifically and to determine what is causing things to happen in the world. In the next few videos, we will explore these three principles in more detail.